Hello everybody, welcome to my channel where I rank bad albums. Ha ha ha. Honorable mentions will be in the description. These are albums that are either disappointing, either 4 out of 10s, don't care about, and let's get on to the list. Coming in at number 15 I have Music of the Spheres by Coldplay. The first single dropped in August, Coloratura, which is one of Coldplay's best songs of all time. Then they drop, 2 weeks before the album release, My Universe with BTS, which was one of the best hit songs of last year and fantastic song overall. Captured the spacey vibe of the album completely. So with 2 songs absolutely living up to the narrative, you would expect the rest of the album to go well. Except it didn't. The rest of the album is boring. The interludes are weird. Coldplay tries a lot of electronics on this album, and unlike Ghost Stories, they fail more often than not. This is their worst album, and I would say that it's still worth listening, I guess, for Humankind, and the 2 singles I just mentioned, My Universe and Coloratura. Heart lyrically isn't bad, and People the Pride sounds nice on first listen, but after 2 listens you realize it's just an amped up Jeep commercial. From what I've heard, we're getting 2 more installments of this series, so I pray that those albums end up panning out better, because yeah, this wasn't a very good album. At number 14 I have Pacifico by Surfaces. Surfaces aren't really my thing. I just gave their Horizons album a pass with a very light 6 last year. And they had some decent tracks on it, like Keep It Gold with that nice sax solo, and the trippy and nice, moody self-titled song Horizons, which was actually one of my favorite songs of last year. You should check it out. This album, man, it is boring. It's ordinary. It is homogenized. It is so run of the mill. If you put a processor and stuck a whole bunch of generic pop tunes in it, added a little bit of Khalid, bam, you got this album, man. Yeah, this album is it's not good. As boring and run-of-the-mill as Surfaces is, number 13 I would argue is a bit worse, coming in as Poster Girl by Zara Larsson. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Zara Larsson, and she actually made top 6 on my worst songs of 2019 with her Ruin My Life. And this song is everything I said about Surfaces, just processing every single generic band with add a little bit Khalid, take every single generic female pop singer, take away no personality, like with Surfaces they had Khalid, just take away that, and you get Zara Larsson, the most boring female pop singer in recent memory, except for maybe Fletcher and Tate McRae. This album is boring, and let's just leave it at that. It's not very good. However, as boring as Poster Girl is, it isn't as harmful and hurting to the ears as the number 12 spot, which is Marshmello's Shockwave. EDM is easily my favorite genre, and as a person who listens to a ton of electronic music, this is a stain on the genre. Marshmello in general could get away with making these kind of boring, kind of formulaic beat drops, collaborating with famous artists, just anything to get his name up there. And I think his fame is starting to run thin, especially with some of the tracks on here. One of them using a sample of a guy saying that Marshmello sucks. I'm not kidding. There's a part in this album where Marshmello does a 20-second clip of a guy saying he sucks. If this is his clapback, then great job, man. You just proved why none of us take you seriously. This album is nominated for a Grammy, and the fact that this is getting recognition over some other better electronic albums like Eris Drew or Midas is kind of pathetic. Another album that is very harming to the ears, and arguably more so than Marshmello's Shockwave, is the new A Date to Remember album, You're Welcome. Yeah, this is basically if Imagine Dragons looked at Cutthroat and was like, yeah, let's make an entire album off of that. This is one of the most hated albums of the year, and you know what? It's for good reason, if I'm being honest. This thing is loud, it's obnoxious, the lyrics are terrible. When life is a beat! Hate and Remember certainly I've sold out to the industry, and I think they deserve to be called out on it because this album is terrible. Entering the top 10, and we're starting off the list number 10 with one of the most processed and creaky sounding groups in the entire world, Chase Atlantic's Beauty in Death. You know what, I think a lot of hate gets thrown at Nav for sounding like an emotionless robot, and while I think a lot of it is deserved, it boggles me why Chase Atlantic haven't been called out for it, because there is probably one decent song on it. I'll probably edit it in that later on, but other than that, this album sounds like if a robot took over the world. If cyborgs are really living amongst us, then this is the type of music they would be making. It is processed to hell. The lead R&B singer/rapper is nasally as heck. The lyrics are about as F-boy as you can get, and kind of pathetic, especially when you get songs like Please Zanny and Aleyu. Some pretty awful tracks. Songs not worth mentioning, and I could argue this is worse than Phases, and that's saying something. Chase Atlantic are one of the most replaceable bands in the world, and my brother with 2 cents worth of editing software can make a song way better than theirs. That's how bad they are. Number 9 is one of the most laughable attempts at a crossover I've heard in quite a while, and it's Kacey Musgraves' Star-Crossed. This album is about breakup, and I understand she's becoming more of a star now, bigger following, and but yeah, this album is processed to hell and back. The mastering is horrible. The use of auto-tune is questionable at best, and some of the choruses here are absolutely stupid. She compares Tokyo wasn't built in one day on Cherry Blossom without realizing that Rome wasn't built in one day, making the Kanye West Trojans line look like a masterpiece in comparison. Gracias a la Vida is pretty stupid. As a person who speaks Spanish, this was kind of weird to listen to. Oh, and who could ever forget Breadwinner, one of the weirdest choruses of the year, and also kind of a stupid song in general. Once again, proving that feminism is kind of at a loss for words at this point. They have nothing more to say. This album is bad. It is bad. It is bad. It is bad. As processed as that is, it isn't as annoying as the number 8 album, which is OK Orchestra by the good friends Adam Jack Ryan. You know what, man? Is this better than Neo Theater? Yes. Anything is better than Neo Theater. Is it as good as The Click? I can't believe I'm saying this, but it isn't. For those who are saying OK Orchestra is better than The Click, I beg to differ. There are some pretty bad songs from the 3 o'clock things where they're basically saying if you're a Trump supporter, you can't listen to their band, which, you know, isn't that much of a loss anyway for you Trump supporters out there. Joe is absolute butchering and disrespectful to a Mozart classic. The Trick is one of the worst songs I've heard of the entire year. And Way Less Sad is... If that's one of the more acceptable songs, then it shows you how deep down the rabbit's hole they are. Bummerland, who listens to this and gets happy? Especially with that stupid bald line, because...
Oh yeah, Adam wants to talk to people at the barber shop because he hasn't socialized in a year.
I will say, though, World's Tiniest Violin isn't bad, and neither is Christmas in June. Those are the only acceptable tracks on here. Other than that, typical millennia, overproduced, everything wrong with pop music. It's that. It is. But as annoying as AJR is, at least they are somewhat interesting, and I can't say that for the number 7th pick, Jordy by Maroon 5. Maroon 5, you know what, it's almost like Justin Bieber, you know, hating on Maroon 5 is so easy, why even bring it up at this point? Well, I think that they do deserve the hate, especially Adam Levine's horrible comments on rock music, and this was dedicated to one of their producers, which feels more like a dancing and pissing on the grave than a memorial than anything. This thing has some of the most soulless and trite pop and trap music I've ever heard all year, and then somehow we're only number 7. That should give you a warning. But hey, at least Maroon 5 can put me to sleep with an album, and the next album can do that certainly, but it contains lyrical matter that aged horribly, and that's Wonder by Shawn Mendes. Yeah, this album is about Camila Cabello and it has some of the most mundane, boring, generic, trite, insipid, lifeless, some of the most run-of-the-mill cliches that you could ever say about your girlfriend. You're an ocean. I want to explore you. Shawn Mendes is the equivalent of that annoying friend you has that finally found love for the first time and just won't stop talking about it. And Shawn Mendes is kind of deluded himself at this point. The fact that he and Camila Cabello broke up kind of warms my heart, if I'm being honest. It does. Number 5 is Human by OneRepublic. Everything I said about Jordy, add this to OneRepublic, except add some obnoxious choruses, some questionable lyrics, and other than probably one song, Run and Rescue Me, even then, the entire album sounds like something that would come out of a commercial about getting your doctor pill prescribed. These choruses are easily some of the worst in OneRepublic's entire discography, and as a huge fan of OneRepublic, yeah, I show no bias in these lists. This is a terrible album. From the artwork to the delays to some of the most over-appealing lyricism that could come out there, this album truly is terrible. But as commercial core as OneRepublic's album was, it isn't as grating and punishing to the ears as number 4, which is Demi Devil by Ashnikko. What is the appeal of Ashnikko? Remind me again, some of these songs are absolute punishments to anyone who has a cognitive brain, and I just can't get with this. I mean, Later Boy, the song with Grimes, the musical song. Who listens to this and thinks, oh, that's good music? Once again, I will bring it up again. Ashnikko is nothing more than a amalgamation of Melanie Martinez, Suburban, and Poppy, and isn't an ounce of their talent. I'm just being honest, and the fact that she's changed her sexuality each year just proves how deluded she is. She really is deluded. I don't feel any remorse saying that. She is. Coming at number 3, this album is trash. It is trash. It is Welcome to the Madhouse by Tones and I. And I've heard some Australians say that she's overplayed to death, and my condolences go out to you, because this really is some of the worst pop music I've ever heard in my life. From Fly Away to the title track, Welcome to the Madhouse, to the horribly vocalized Won't Sleep. Yet Tones and I is a punishment to the ears, and as if giving us Dance Monkey wasn't bad enough, you had to do this to us. Coming in at number 2 is, ever since I started reviewing music, I've only given out 3 1 out of 10s, and this is a 1 out of 10. It is the self-titled EP from Lil Mariko. It all boils down to this. I can't take what she's saying seriously because it's stupid, and I can't laugh at what she's saying because it isn't funny. And this is like Lil Tay if she decided to have a rap career. And that's Lil Mariko in a nutshell. I'm not looking forward to another project of hers, I don't care. At number 1 is an album that is an absolute mockery of a genre and should never have seen the light of day. It is the I Got Drunk and Made an EP from Tramp Stamps. You know, this it isn't even I'd Rather Die at this point. This entire album has some of the worst punk cliches, and everything about this album is just wrong. Tramp Stamps themselves, I'll say it again, Marissa Maino has one of the most forgettable punk voices there are out there, and they're not very talented musically either. Dunking on Tramp Stamps is fun, but when it shows you just how bad their music is, I think they deserve it. I really do. I really think they do. And that's my pick for the worst album of the year. Technically, Welcome to the Madhouse is number 1, but I had to include these EPs. They're really that bad. Is it as bad as the G-Eazy Everything Strange here? I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I would love to hear what album punished you the most this year. If you see an album on here you like, don't take it too seriously, I guess. I hate them, but if you like them, you do you, I guess. The next list is going to be my top 50 songs of the year. Something I'm looking forward to, but until then, I'm Joel. Peacing out.